Good morning. Here's a new dining room set I picked up the day after Christmas. It's made out of teak. The company's name is Mogler. There's a maker's mark underneath the chairs and underneath the desk. I bought it on Craigslist out of West Palm Beach. Very nice guy. It was his grandmother's. Just didn't fit his decor. Didn't want it anymore. Beautiful set. That's all I can say. It is beautiful. He said it was beautiful and he was dead on. Very, very nice guy. He wanted $1,100 and we agreed on $900. So $40 in gas, I can't complain. I've been looking for a new dining room set for a while. I kind of fixate on teak because I like the workmanship. And I really like teak wood. It seems to hold up well in Florida. So I would look, if anybody wanted a nice dining room set, look for a nice teak one. I've seen a lot of these things come online the last month. Maybe because of Christmas, people need the money. But usually I see the table I want, but no chairs. Or I find the chairs and no table. And together, I see the set, putting it together. I almost pulled the ripcord on one. It would have cost me like $1,700. Similar chairs, but the backs needed to be reupholstered. But the chairs were a little bit different than these chairs. So I'm happy with these chairs. They have a slim leg to it. I really don't like the fat round legs, I call them. Or there's another leg that's like I guess like a pencil. That's very beautiful but very rare. But I'm happy with this set. This is an oatmeal fabric. I think it's original. You know, he said his grandmother had this. I believe it. I don't think he's ever been reupholstered. Not that that matters, but it's all original. You know, there are some little scratches here from wear and tear. No big deal for me. I'm just going to take some teak oil, double ops, you know, steel wool, and start going over it and clean them up. There's some damage here, but no big deal. I don't really sweat stuff that people have used. You're gonna get some damage. So my goal is to keep it for another 10 years, and then, you know, probably sell it at that point. But you know, this to me is my last dining room set. You know, the last one I had I bought used. My kids beat on it, but we got our money out of it for 7 years. So that one I'm going to keep the table, refinish it for practice, and probably give away the chairs. Or just whenever I sell it, I'll just, you know, if I can get $100 for it, it'd be nice. But it's a nice cherry table made by Ethan Allen. This is a nice little extra table or chair that Grandma ordered. A little bit of damage there. It looks like paint. Some here. That'll come right off. It's a little bit dry. It's going to be a little tricky with teak oil. I don't want to get any of that oil on the fabric. So I'm going to use some painter's tape and then plastic and wrap this up. I don't know how. I looked at this thing. I think you just hit it with a mallet to get the leg off. I mean, there's no screws. So they must, I don't know how they put this thing together. That's really interesting. You know, it's amazing. There's no screws unless the screw is under here. So I'm not gonna fool with it. I'm just gonna leave it alone and just oil this up, get that paint off of there. That's probably the worst one. The table has some nicks here. I think I actually did that when I moved it. You know, I had to wrestle this in the car or the minivan and wrestle it out. And really beautiful grain. You know, you can see it's a little bit dried out here. And underneath it, really nice teak furniture. You know, made in Denmark. I wish they put a year. And it's got big braces on it. So I know it's not made in the 50s. So I would say probably 80s, maybe 90s. Beautiful set. No complaints. Another happy Craigslist buy for me. Some people get worried about Craigslist. The only thing I've done recently with my Craigslist, when I'm selling something, I don't put my phone number in my ad anymore. I've gotten some, you know, crank calls. Plus I've noticed people do a lot of phishing, trying to give out more information that's not related to the sale. You know, I don't know, it's sad, but that's just one of the things you got to worry about. But when you want convenience, like I needed a dining room set. It took me a couple weeks looking around. I did learn a lot about furniture when I'm looking for stuff, and I learned the value. And if I can get 10 years out of this, I'm more than happy with it. I think my plan is this is my last big set, last big purchase. Very, very happy with it. The chairs aren't particularly rare, despite what people on eBay are saying. They're nice chairs. The design is nice. It's made by Mogler. It's real teak. But I keep seeing on Craigslist after I got my set, and I kind of wonder why people push that. I guess they're trying to make money, whatever. Maybe if you got a rosewood chair, I think there's one set in Memphis, there's a rosewood. That would be expensive, but these are regular teak, which for the average person, I think that's the way to go. It's a very hard wood if you got kids. You know, very good to work with. Teak oil it probably once a year. If you lived up in a dry community like, I don't know, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, it probably dries out quicker. Florida was very humid, probably not a big deal. So I really love teak, I really love the set. I love Craigslist. Thank God for the guy that started that. I know he's still alive out in San Francisco. Could have been a billionaire, but he decided just to do something for everybody else. So I'm going to start working on this today, and I'll post probably a couple videos on how I refinish them. The only question I have is the brand of teak oil. I went with Starbright, which is readily available. I wanted to get Scan Teak, and I wanted to get, there was another brand, but I just couldn't find it. And Scan Teak wanted me to use PayPal, and I just don't like using PayPal to buy stuff like that. I don't mind using PayPal with eBay, but I don't like to use it anywhere else. But there's a guy that has a really great website. In my next video, I'm going to post a link to his website. He just does teak chairs, and he's a guy that does what they call Danish cord restorations. If you've never seen that, that is a beautiful, beautiful chair made in Denmark, and it's actually paper cord that they made the seats out of, and sometimes the backs. And he restores them. He just does the cord. He says somebody else at his shop will do the wood. But his site is just probably the best site when you want to see beautiful craftsmanship of original furniture that's been restored. You know, it's just amazingly beautiful. And that's when I started looking for my next purchase. I want to get a Danish cord chair and try to do the Danish cord. I mean, it is difficult. I think it's tedious more than anything else. But I would love to get one of those chairs and put it in my living room, just, you know, as a piece. Or maybe if I could get two chairs, one for each, my son and daughter, and they could have it in their bedrooms. My son has a really beautiful mid-century desk that I remodeled for him. And my wife has one too. Maybe she needs a chair. And it would be beautiful to have. I mean, if you've never seen that, look it up online. It can be very expensive to buy those chairs. You gotta be a little careful, like anything else that has value. People try to sell this Danish stuff. They start tossing around Danish names. You have no clue who made it, you know. And they'll sometimes say it's this, and when you look online, you do a little homework, it's not, or it's made at the same time frame, you know, and they want a lot of money for it. And it depends on what you want to put your money into. But really look for a Danish cord chair. After looking at these, that's my next purchase. I just kind of want to get one of those. So once again, hey, look on Craigslist. I would think anybody in Florida could get a beautiful set. There's one right now in Daytona Beach, $700, except you're going to have to go ahead and clean this thing up, but that's not a big thing. And it has white. This is white, which, you know, if you got kids, that's kind of, you know, they can kind of wear you down. But I'm sure that guy would probably come down on the price. You know, if you see something up there a month, that guy can't sell it. And, you know, a lot of people might not like teak. They don't want to fool with it. They want to go to Ashley, or they want to go to, you know, IKEA. I can't believe anybody would go to IKEA and not buy this, but they'll go to IKEA and buy that. Or they'll go to Ethan Allen and make payments. And I just don't want to do that. So that's all for here. This would be my new project.